So a lot of you have been reaching out to me and asking me what's happening in the prime London property market this summer. And it's a question I get pretty much on a daily basis. Danny, should I sell now or should I wait 6 months to a year from now? We've just received the prime London property market update from landlords, which provides us with some great stats. And these stats include the Q2 2021 and also the month of June. I want to take this, break this down for you, digest it, as well as giving you my opinion as to what's happening on the ground here on a daily basis in prime London. So with the 30th of June stamp duty holiday, it's no surprise that we saw some record-breaking numbers. In fact, we saw so many sellers wanted to maximise on their exposure, but also so many buyers wanted to make sure that they made the most of those savings of the stamp duty holiday. So in the quarter Q2 2021, available properties was 36% higher in comparison to 2019. And we felt that those numbers were going to start to slow down as we get closer to that deadline of 30th of June, right? We didn't see that. In fact, if we look at this, we see that 3% higher in comparison to the same time in 2020 and just 4% lower when compared to 2019. So it didn't quite slow down, which suggests that perhaps the stamp duty holiday wasn't the only thing driving sales here in prime London. Sales were up 140% on the 5-year average between 2015 and 2019 and 20% higher than the previous highest month in March 2016, of course, which was prior to the 3% stamp duty levy on the additional properties. Now, second quarter 2 was the busiest on record, with 10% more sales recorded than the previous peak in quarter 2 2014. Now, of course, the market below 1 million was where stamp duty savings were accounted for the highest proportion of buyers. Sales below 1 million rose 78% in Q2 2021 and in June alone by 177% compared to the 5-year average. We saw 45% increase when compared to the 5-year average between 2015 and 2019. I mean, that's huge. And the savings, I mean, let's give you an example. Someone who's buying a property for £10 million, you know, the savings they're going to make on the stamp duty is £15,000. So it's safe to say that that's not going to be the driving motivator for that person to actually purchase and purchase quickly. So there are other factors really pushing and moving forward people wanting to buy homes. And of course, this is more evident in properties and family homes, such as properties that have gardens, outside space, bigger internal spaces as well. So of course, when we look at prime fringe, we're going to see that's where most of the transactions are being happening. But also, we're also going to see where the sales have increased ever so slightly. Prime central London, however, does seem to be slower, and also prices have also gone down ever so slightly. So do we see a change in this? Possibly. Because what I'm seeing on a daily basis, especially over the course of the last few weeks as London continues to open up, is more and more people coming into London. So we're seeing more students, more professionals. Some of these professionals, fair enough, they're only coming in probably around about 3 days a week, but others are just coming and permanently staying here. We're seeing an increase in fact, with people renting smaller properties. Now, in my opinion, especially having worked in the lettings market for so many years, the rental market is so tied in to what you can sell a property here in London. I mean, I'll give you an example. If you had a property for £1 million for sale 3 years ago and you can achieve a 4% on that property, in the last few months, you'd be very, very likely to achieve a 3% because rental prices were so low. Now, coming in the last few weeks, rental prices have started to increase again. Now, those yields are now very much closer and very, very much closer to what they were 2-3 years ago. And that's going to have an impact on property prices here in London. So again, we're seeing more people come back into London, and that's really driving prices go up on the rental. And I believe that sales is going to follow very, very quickly. Overseas buyers, we're seeing more demand on that. And that's really the thing that we really need here in London, because overseas buyers are someone who, by the way, during the pandemic, or at least during part of the lockdown, the restrictions, we were seeing more and more of those overseas buyers having agents, buyer agents. So the buyer agents were the ones doing the viewings and all the research, the negotiation, because those buyers couldn't get here physically. So I hope you found this helpful, and if you have any questions, do let me know. What I'm going to be providing very shortly as well is a rental and lettings market update, so you can make a decision as to if right now is the right time to rent or the right time to sell. Thank you, Danny Valencia.